Okay guys, so I went ahead and figured out how to get those figures in R. Um, if you look here, this is how the data needs to be entered into your Excel spreadsheet. Where you see you have this one column for the treatment or condition. So in this case it was either light or it was dark. And then in this other column here you have your count data, so the number of Gammarus shrimp that were on the light side and the number of Gammarus shrimp that were on the dark side. So there's that. And of course you want to save this as a comma separated value sheet. I already did that, so I'm not going to do that right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and open up R. So the script that I sent you guys in the email should be this one right here, labeled Gammarus.R. And there's two things that you guys are going to have to do right away if you haven't done this already. You'll only have to do it once, but in order to get these packages to work, you have to install them onto your hard drive. So there's two packages. Oh, sorry, you have to select a Cranmere. So I'm just going to do USA, Michigan. Okay, and one of those packages that you're going to download is this one down here called, where are you? ggplot2. Okay, so then you would just hit OK. I already have it on my hard drive, so I'm not going to do that right now. The other package that you need to download is supposed to be somewhere in here. Hit cancel real quick. Oh, it's this PLYR. So, install package. And there it is, PLYR. So then you're going to hit OK, and that's going to load that onto your hard drive. Like I said, I already have that on my hard drive, so I'm not going to do that. And then it's the same thing as before. You're gonna select your data file. So in this case, there, and our data. Lab plot 2, and then you just make sure that it is in fact the right thing. Let's see here, we have our treatment, we have our count, light, 2466. Okay, so we know that's right. We're going to attach that file, and then what you want to do is take this giant thing. It says this code gives us access to the function summary SE. You're going to copy that. You're going to take all of that up to this point before we get to this DF here, and you're going to load that. Okay? There's a way that you can set that up as a source code where you don't actually have to have that in your script and run it every time, but I don't remember how to do it. So you guys are smart people, you can probably figure it out. Alright, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to take that explanatory variable, the treatment, the light versus dark, and we need to turn it into a factor, because otherwise R is only going to, well, not R, but the ggplot tool, it's only going to recognize your explanatory variable as a numerical entity, and this is very much not numerical. So we're going to turn it into a factor, by using these here. Yeah. So now we have it as a factor. Now we're going to use that summary SE, and I'm just giving this the arbitrary name of C data sub because that was the name they used on the website I looked this up on. We're going to run that, and then now we're going to look at it. And as you can see, you have your treatments here. Both have an N of 9 because remember there were 9 replicates. You have the average count, so this is the mean, 6.33 for Gammarus shrimp on the dark side, 3.66 for Gammarus on the light side, standard deviation, standard error, and confidence intervals. So you can use either of these three for your errors. But that's I'm going to use standard error, but you're welcome to use standard deviation or confidence intervals. Okay, so remember the package we installed, this ggplot2. We're going to go ahead and put that into our working library. And now we're going to create a plot that's based on the summary SE data. So that's why you see this C data sub right here. It's the same name as those data right there. The aesthetics, we just have our treatment as the X group, and the count as our Y group. Okay. So let's see if that actually does anything. And it doesn't because we have no layers. So we need to add a layer. One of the layers that we're going to add is this geometric point. So let's do that. And as you can see, right here we have that average for the dark, 6.3, it's right about there, and the light, 3.6, which is about right there. Now you probably noticed that there's some numbers here, size and PCH. Now you can, these are just the size, that's just the size I picked. Now if you were to leave this entire area blank, R would create a default for you that would look like this. So the points are a little bit smaller, harder to read. It's not really what we want. That's why I left it as that. Now for your error bar, again, we're creating some aesthetic for the plot. The minimum value of the Y error, the minimum value for the error bar for the Y is just equal to the count minus the standard error. Like I said, you can use standard deviation or confidence interval. And the Y max is that count, but plus the standard error. So this is, here, let me run it so you can see what it looks like. Do anything. Try this. Let's try that again. Yeah, didn't really do anything, did it? Oh, because I did have a comma there. That would be why. Sorry about that. Here we go. Alright. There we go. So now we have our points. We have our error bars. But the axis labels and the actual numbers and factors are a little thin and difficult to see, and they don't actually say the things we probably want them to say. If we want this figure to be as completely descriptive as possible, so we wouldn't want treatment here because well, I mean, you could leave treatment. I think it's better to say condition because that's actually what we were looking at. and we don't want this to say count here. We want to say the number of Gammarus shrimp. So that's why for our label here, labeled X condition has to be in quotation marks, otherwise ggplot won't recognize it. And then for our Y title axis, we have number of Gammarus shrimp. Again, make sure you put it in quotes. So I'll show you what that looks like. See, now that says condition, that says number of Gammarus. These are still a little light. Also, this is really freaking close to the numbers here, and I personally don't like the way that looks. One of the other things that I don't think looks very professional is this gray gridded background. So we're going to go ahead and try and do away with that. And that's what this theme black and white does. The grid's still going to be there, but the gray background will go away. And that looks a little bit better. We're going to get rid of the gray background with this panel grid major element blank. So that's what we're going to do to get rid of the gray background. And then we're also going to change the text size and color of these axis titles and whatnot. We're just going to do that in one fell swoop here instead of going through each of them. And see, that looks a lot better in my opinion. You can go around, you can go ahead and play around with these numbers, the relative size right here. You can make it bigger, smaller, the adjustment here. Play around with it as much as you want to until it looks as professional as you think it can look. If you guys have any questions, come to my office hours. I know this is probably not the most conducive way to do this, but it is a way to do it. So thanks, and I will see you guys soon.